and that's helping to bring the cooler, drier air.
Well, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us for Storm Watch. In just a second, I'll have a look at thunderstorms in the south, bringing some heavy rain. Right now, though, Tropical Storm Arlene is in the Atlantic, and John Hope is at our expert desk. John?
Well, thanks a lot, Rich, and good afternoon, everybody. I think the news we have on Arlene today is mostly good. It is weakening. We expect it to continue to weaken, and not only that, we expect the center of the storm to pass to the east of Bermuda, and that means that Bermuda is going to be on the weak side of the storm. And even though we do have out tropical storm warnings for Bermuda, we're doubting now if we ever actually get sustained tropical storm force winds there. We may see some gusts that high. The strongest winds we've seen on Bermuda this afternoon, incidentally, are gusts to about 21 miles per hour, so not very windy at all. And as you look at our satellite pictures, we can see the picture of the clouds and showers are mostly east of there. This is the forecast track. Now, what we expect to see in the next 12, 24 hours is for this to begin to accelerate toward the north and continue to weaken. The upper airflow out there is becoming very hostile for this storm, and we think we're going to see it weaken and do so pretty rapidly. Here it is. Here's the big picture. This is Arlene up here, down around Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands this afternoon, for example. Just a few showers over land, but mostly benign weather, no kind of disturbances. A little bit of disturbed weather coming in from the east-southeast, but that's so far south that we're not going to worry about that at all. And as we zoom in on Arlene, we can see Bermuda right off here to the west, and here's Arlene. And most of the showers associated with this now are in this northern semicircle, and the rest of it, not very many showers at all. And that indicates a weakening system, and not only that, but it's a system that we expect to weaken further as time goes by. Looking at our water vapor loop, here we can see a closed low now in the upper atmosphere well to the southwest of Arlene. Arlene is right here, and that's been causing a little southwesterly shear over. Winds from the southwest have been impinging on it, but now it's about to be hit by these northeast winds at high levels, and we think once that happens, this will continue to weaken and weaken very, very rapidly. The rest of the tropics, we don't really have anything much to be concerned about, and we're glad to be able to tell you that. The area we look at this time of year mostly for possible development is in the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, and not much happening there now. But in the East Atlantic, I pointed out a minute ago that we had this disturbed weather far to the south and not really much of any consequence. And as you know, this time of year in June, this is the area we look for mostly in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. And we are becoming now a little bit more interested in what we see in the Caribbean Sea. The Gulf is looking mighty fine, but here in the Caribbean, we're seeing these clouds begin to increase. And what we have here is high in the upper atmosphere, so that area in the Caribbean is an area that we're going to be watching as time goes by. Nothing much to worry about, a few showers here in the Gulf of Tehuantepec. But other than that, we don't have much on the Pacific side at all. So by and large, things are looking very, very good in the tropics. Arlene weakening, nothing else immediate. And that is about the situation. We'll be back with another update in about an hour. Now back to Rich Johnson.
And as we check out what's going on here in the continental U.S., there are a few thunderstorms building up in New Mexico, Arizona, right along the front. Really, the heaviest of the weather today has been in the southeast, where thunderstorms, something of a probability and more of a general type of rain. It has been raining heavily. Areas of southern Alabama now to north Georgia, areas of Florida getting heavy rain, and a large area of rain covering western North Carolina. Over to Atlanta and down toward Columbus, showers and storms very prominent today. Much more about this and also more about your forecast for your Wednesday right after this.
Areas of the southeast as well as the central U.S. are in for a soaking. Find out where and when rain is likely and what the forecast holds on Weather Center after your local forecast.
A lot of people think the best way to deal with allergies is to take a prescription, a common misconception. You see, the leading allergy prescription only relieves these symptoms, but Tylenol allergy...
As we get into our tropical update on this, let's see, 17th day of the hurricane season, or 16th day rather, we are looking at a tropical storm, Arlene, packing top winds of 45 miles per hour. Center of Arlene right about in here. It's kind of tough to see. We'll give you a closer vantage point in a minute. But the main thing to point out here, there's a big trough of low pressure setting up on the eastern seaboard, and this will be progressing offshore. As it does so, it'll give that needed nudge to Arlene. It's going to do two things. It's one, going to keep it from strengthening any further with the wind shear aloft, causing it to be kind of blown downstream in this fashion. But also it's going to direct it northbound, so we're pretty confident now the center of Arlene will pass to the east of Bermuda and probably fairly decently to the east too. Now, as of the 5 o'clock advisory, the center of Arlene at 31.9 north and 62.7 west, about 120 miles to the east-southeast of Hamilton, Bermuda. Top winds again 45 miles per hour. And the movement now to the north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. We have seen that shifting more northerly as the day has worn on. Pressure at about 1,012 millibars. And by the way, the Hurricane Center will send an aircraft in there to investigate this evening. Tropical storm warning does continue for Bermuda, including the city of Hamilton. But as said, it looks like it will be maintaining that strength, if not weakening a little bit, and hopefully not giving anything more than just a glancing blow to the area. In the case of Hamilton, we did have a wind gust in the past hour up over 20 miles per hour. That's the first time we've seen the winds up that high. It is a northerly wind, and that also tells us the likelihood is that the center is going to pass to the east of the islands of Bermuda. So the strike probability, once again, does appear to be now to the right. And you know what? Even if it were to pass right overhead, all the action is pretty much displaced to the north and northeast. So we're pretty confident even that would stay well to the east of the area. But we'll continue to watch it. The Hurricane Center will be dispatching an aircraft out there. We'll have an intermediate advisory for you as of 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Elsewhere, a little closer to home, big trough of low pressure. We've had an upper low in the Gulf of Mexico. Now it's just a conveyor, if you will, of tropical air up into Florida today. We just got a report in from Orlando. 3 1/3 inches of rain in 1 hour at the Orlando International Airport. And you can see the source of all that tropical air is coming right out of the Caribbean. We're watching the area, as is the Hurricane Center. Whatever is out there is very disorganized, but nonetheless, this is an area that climatologically is somewhat favorable in the month of June. So we'll watch it for you folks around Grand Cayman and Cozumel, as well as in the Florida Keys, but we're not very concerned with it right now, that's for sure. Checking out the eastern Atlantic and the middle Atlantic, these are the Lesser Antilles. Things are pretty quiet. As we have seen typically with the heating of the day, we've had a couple storms pop up over the greater Antilles, namely around Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. But again, nothing organized here. Here's Mexico. Central America is pretty quiet. We have a big, broad area of disorganized weather, but likewise, in the case of the Caribbean, this is also not an area that is likely to develop quickly anytime soon. Stateside, the big news, very cool air sliding out of Canada. We had a 36 last night in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We had temperatures in the 30s in portions of New York, record lows even in Buffalo and Rochester, with each area down to 41 degrees. You're not going to be that chilly tonight, though, as cloud cover will override a lot of the eastern U.S. And with that cloud cover, a fair amount of rainfall. Low pressure rippling on the front, delivering a lot of rain. Portions of the Atlanta metropolitan area today in the order of 1 to 2 inches of rain. Rain still coming through Montgomery, riding right up 85. Big storms to the north of Macon, Georgia. Big storms on 20. Possible tornado this hour in Wilkes County in Georgia. That is a tornado warning in Wilkes County in northeastern Georgia. More big storms in Augusta, Georgia. And by the way, that rain is heading over towards Pinehurst, unfortunately. So a lot of folks arriving for the opening round coverage of the U.S. Open tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be kind of wet, at least for a while. In the Midwest, we have some rain. Earlier, one storm over Lake Winnebago, putting down hail and even dropping down a waterspout. This rain is starting to weaken, though, but it will bring some showers tonight to Chicago.
Areas of the southeast as well as the central U.S. are in for a soaking. Find out where and when rain is likely and what the forecast holds on Weather Center after your local forecast.
We spin them. We freeze them. We push quality to the limit. And then we crash them. Now you can ride along. At the new Test Track, presented exclusively by General Motors. Open now at Walt Disney World Resort. Fasten your seatbelt.
Everybody's doing it.
Orlando with record rains today, 3.5 inches of rain. How long will this deluge last? Plus waterspouts reported on Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin, out over the Florida Keys, severe weather near Boise, and a dust storm in Tucson, Arizona. This is Storm Watch. I'm Dave Schwartz. Let's check the tropical waters and we'll find that we have a storm out there too. It's still a tropical storm. Officially, Tropical Storm Arlene as of 11 o'clock. Atlantic Standard Time, packing 40-mile-per-hour winds up at flight level. But those of us who are watching tonight from Bermuda are not encountering that kind of weather. And that's good news, because Tropical Storm Arlene is about as close to our island as is going to get. The center of the broad circulation is now calculated to be about 120 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. And the strongest winds that we've seen at the airport in Hamilton tonight, 23 miles per hour. Nevertheless, just to be sure, just to cover all bases, a tropical storm warning is in effect for tonight for the island of Bermuda. But once again, tropical storm force winds are not likely on Bermuda. That is great news. We can't even find a shower out of this thing, or not much of a shower. The tops of the last batch of showers have blown off to the east. By the way, in behind me, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, just to get your bearings here. And all that's left is a low-level swirl of clouds. Can you see that? See that swirling of the gray-colored clouds right in here? The center of the circulation right here, and Bermuda just off to the west-northwest of that. So that's great news for us. Those winds, by the way, the 40-mile-per-hour winds that were found at flight level by the reconnaissance plane, were found in the northeast quadrant earlier tonight. That reconnaissance plane is heading back toward Charleston, South Carolina. So in the northeast quadrant. Meanwhile, here in Bermuda, we will be on the west side of this tropical storm as it moves by here tonight. And the winds here, 10 to 20 miles per hour. So is it a tropical storm? Maybe, barely. Officially, yes. Are we experiencing tropical storm force winds on Bermuda? No. Will we? Probably not for tonight. Tomorrow, another partly cloudy day. Closer to home, here in the Gulf of Mexico, all is clear, though there is an area of low pressure right in here sending some moisture northward. Some thunderstorms from Cuba collapsed, but then reformed and shot a squall line right up through the Keys earlier today. Before that happened, a funnel cloud or a waterspout was detected out near Sand Key, and it actually hit a dive boat. Apparently nobody was injured because those folks made the report. Then we've got a deep trough of low pressure out here, and that is precluding any tropical weather from getting going here in the central and eastern Caribbean or out here near the Bahamas and further eastward. And that trough out here, southwest winds, all quiet down here along the intertropical convergence zone. Another cluster of thunderstorms moves off of Africa way far to the south. It's way too early for the Cape Verde season. And here in the Pacific, well, the tropical season's been going now for over a month, but there's still no tropical storms. And that's wonderful news if you've got plans to head to the beaches here in western Mexico or Central America. That's it for your tropical update, my friend. Plenty of tropical juice, however, in Florida, parts of Georgia, Orlando, 3.5 inches of rain. That breaks an all-time record. The rain continues here tonight, slowly dying down toward morning and then popping up again here in the afternoon. More showers heading up the east coast, but right in the middle, high pressure is heading southward out of Canada. Another chilly night tonight in Des Moines. It's cloudy right now in Chicago. They'll clear toward morning, and it is going to be another springtimey day. But the problem areas are these: the rain heading up the east coast for tomorrow morning, and the thunderstorms that formed in the afternoon heat here in the high country. They'll be back here tomorrow. LA looking good, Dallas too, and Minneapolis. What's in store for tomorrow? Your forecast is coming up next on Weather Center.
More rain soaks the southeast, but will it bring relief from the drought? And is the northeast next in line for wet weather? Details plus the national outlook ahead on Weather Center.
I worry too much. Merging two bank networks, but it wasn't a problem. AT&T nailed that. They really helped us connect our customers, trading partners, and everyone's together in real time. Now we can give service on demand. Very cool. Our revenue is going to go sky high. I like worrying about that.
AT&T Net.working to make your business succeed.
A professional doesn't depend upon the easy way out. He depends upon his equipment. That's why professionals have been driving GMC for nearly a century, like this GMC Jimmy.